यार मेरे मोबाइल है हाँ हम्म ठीक आपका मोबाइल उधर है ना ना मेरा मोबाइल उधर है ना इधर है बा इट्स नॉट देयर ಅವರ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮುಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ Yeah, hi everyone. So now we are going to discuss about the security tool. That's tool name called Prowler. The Prowler is a open source tools. So that using this tool, we can able to scan cloud environments such as AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Not only for that, even we can able to scan Kubernetes and M365, which is from the Microsoft platform. So we can scan and we can find this what are the security related problems and whether it is meeting the compliances or not. The currently these are the standards: KISS, NIST, GDPR, HIPAA, SOC 2, and these are the compliances. It will check the cloud environment whether these are the compliances whether it's meeting or not. If doesn't meet, then it will be generating the report and it will go to SOC team and they have to give the remedies immediately as early as possible. Okay, so the next thing is, so not only for the tools how we are going to deploy and how we are going to use, not only for that, even how we can integrate with MCP and the no code platforms and low code platforms. So low code platforms are like a vibe coding and you can use for the cursor and you can use for the Claude and you can give this prompt so that we can able to develop the applications. That's called no code platforms. And low code platforms also there. N810 Claude cursor, and using this also you can able to develop. We are going to see that. Fine. So next thing is this, as I said, it's open source. If you go to the Git repo, you can able to see this the complete code and architecture and how what the logic has been built and everything. You can able to see that. Okay. So so why we need the Prowler? Because using this you can able to do end to end automate because it's providing for the CLI commands and it's providing for the pipelines. So basically the Prowler automates the cloud security assessments, compliance audits, and monitoring for AWS, Azure, GCP, and Kubernetes and M365. So what does that? It's going to identify the misconfiguration for the cloud environment. So, okay. The purpose is secure your cloud environment and auditing and enable for this forensic readiness. Forensic readiness is nothing. So once you found any complaints issues, then how we can resolve the problem as early as possible. So this is this, and the target users. So the Prowler who will able to use cloud engineers, security teams, compliance officers, and even the I mean, like students like you. The key features, it's supposed AWS have a lot of managed services, and using this, it can able to identify what are the non-compliances in the cloud environment. We can not only for AWS, it's already I told it's covering for the all environments. The next thing is there is a called Prowler Studio. You can able to integrate with AI, so that's what we are calling as AI driven. And it's also support for the no code automations that always I told. Actually we can use vibe coding, or you can use for the N8N platforms, or you can go for this Google, that is called Opal, that also you can able to do that. Mm. So what is the message here is, so the Prowler is, it's a CLI, and you can able to automate using for the AI driven tools. So thing is, you need to get awareness of the no code platform in 8N immediately. That is the message. Because if you are familiar for Python, then you can use the Python platform, then you can automate. But if you are not willing to do for the automations using for any Python scripts, no problem. You can use for the N18, that is only for just playing with the GUI, just selections, and just integrate, just move the icon here and there, then you can able to integrate it. Okay. So next I told actually this yeah, this is this particular, it's open source. When it is anything is open source, we can able to find the source code in the GitHub, and these are the structures, code structures. There is a called API folder. So this particular application has been built using for the Python Django framework. When you go for applications, you have a front end, back end, and data. These are the three layers normally. So the back end is they have used for the, they have what where is the cursor? Oh, I didn't get the cursor. Okay, my cursor. Okay, fine. So API they are using for the Django REST framework. They are using it. Yeah. Okay. Then the front end, in the front end. Okay, the front end they are using for the this next JavaScript. Okay, there is a called React next JavaScript they are using for that, and they are using for the Prowler engine. The Prowler engine is going to give for the like a system CLI commands, so that you can able to do scanning the cloud environment, or you can able to automate also. So example, the commands is like checks and compliances, like these are the commands is with lot of flags. And the documents you can able to, because when you do for this the security scanning, then you need to generate the documents, that's the documents. And also you can able to write some test cases, that's what unit test cases. And you can also integrate with CI/CD workflows. Yes. And how you can deploy, because you can able to deploy using for the dockers, that's what they are providing, the docker compose.yaml files. The key components the key components are mm, the key components are, um, once you deploy this, you can able to see for the Prowler CLI. The Prowler CLI is completely developed using for the Python. Okay, what does that? It scans. It scans, for example, if you want to scan Prowler, and AWS is a platform, it scans and it generates the reports. And the Prowler app, as I said, actually it is a Django REST API and manages all the scans. Okay, UI, what is the purpose? It's visualize what I scanned and what I observed. Okay, whether it is meeting for the compliances, because we need to give the flag also which compliances I need to, whether it's a KISS, HIPAA or something. Yes, says. Okay, and this SDK, so that's giving a software development kit, so that in your if you want to develop any dashboards also, you can able to integrate that. Okay, checks, script for security checks. This is like a checks AWS S3. That means we are going to predominantly focusing only for S3 managed services. We want to check whether it is meeting the compliance or not. The dashboards, it's giving the dashboards as well. Okay, you can able to see CLI as well as you can able to see for that GUI. Yes. If I want to deploy this applications, and what are the Python packages? It's a dependencies. Okay, the dependency packages are you see this, there is a called Boto3. Boto3 is a Python model, so that using this Boto3 models you can able to access for the AWS resources. Okay, then Azure SDK, if you have a that particular model you having, then you can able to play with the Azure cloud. Okay, and Google Cloud. Okay, are you able to see this? Okay, the Azure and Google Cloud. And this is so backend is Django, then you need to have a Django REST framework. Then after that we are going for synchronous asynchronous. Predominantly we are using for the asynchronous mode. For the asynchronous they are using for the Celery and Unicorn. These are the task management, we are going to use it. Then there is a dependency, any binary has dependency from the system side, they are using for this model. Then after that they are using our all the data they are collecting. After that, how they are managing all the data in the structure. The structure is called JSON. And how this structure is, it's a blueprint, I mean that template, which template they are using is that's called OCSF. This is a particular standard for all the security, how we are generating the report. And this is the template they are provided by um, the security people. Okay. Yeah, the front end they are using for the Node.js. Okay, JS is JavaScript, and they are using for the Docker. The backend is Postgres database. Okay, then, and also you can able to integrate with MCP. That's what they're saying, that you can give a API key, then you can use for the MCP integrations. Okay, the next thing is this. It is the Apache licenses, so you can freely you can able to deploy. It's licensed. Okay, so why we need the Prowler? What the problem is currently we are having? What the problem is? It's addressing it. One thing is cloud environments are, because when you move your applications, onboarding your applications, because cloud is very complex and it is more vulnerable, because it is all running on the different networks of networks. So it's vulnerable. Okay, there would be chances for more attacks. So the most of the time what happened, we felt it misconfigurations for the storage. S3 buckets are not, it is a AWS storage and IAM policies, unencrypted data, because we are keeping all the data in the S3 bucket, but we are not encrypting. If we are not encrypting, gone cases. So that's the main then compliance is complexity. And okay, so what happened actually, even I'm using the cloud, but I'm not aware of the compliances. So most of the time I'll miss for the compliances. When the audit comes, then after that the concern rises. So that's what compliance is complexity. And the next thing is the manual overload, because we don't want anything in the humans by hands. Then it will be eventually it will be creating us some misconfigurations. Yes. Okay, the next thing is multi-cloud management. You are not going to use only one platform, because you'll be using for AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, a combination of any cloud you'll be using. So that time actually there is more chances to misconfigure it. And the next thing is incident responses. Okay, and the incident responses, whatever incidents, whenever any problem rises, then immediately we want to give the remedies. So remedies, you need the logs and everything, it will be providing for the incident responses. Yeah, these are the end users. uh, yes, correct. So currently these are the problem we are facing it. There is a no solutions for that. So that's what actually we are depending for the Prowler. Yes, at is open source. You don't need to pay any money for that. So you can recommend for your customers so that they can get more benefits. But if you go for the if you are your infrastructure is not in the placed in the cloud, then it won't be a benefit. It should not be the benefit, right? Okay, if it is only for the even own infrastructure, you won't benefit much. But you can use for your I mean your on premises infrastructure also you can use it, and cloud also you can infrastructure. But cloud infrastructure, there is a currently we don't have any solutions. That solution only it's trying to address it. Okay, so what is the current tools are having the shortages. Okay, most of the time this is focusing only for the single cloud focus. They are not maxing for the multi-cloud platform. They are not focusing. The next thing is very complex to set up, and the limited compliances, it's not covering for all the compliances. And some of them it's a limited automations, they're not covering for the end-to-end automations. And there is a lot of scalability issues. These are the okay, understood. So they're saying that provided edges, it does for the 567 compliance checks and 142 Azure checks, and also it's a rack powered AI. What do you mean for the rack? So the rack is nothing actually. Suppose the the AI behind is the behind of the brain is large language model. So the large language model only for the brain. So the large language model always actually trained by the generic information, generic knowledge. So what the RAG actually? The RAG is what? It's a domain specific informations we are going to push or put into our LLM brain, so that LLM brain also aware of your domain specific knowledge. So LLM will powered, the LLM brain get powered general plus your domain specific. That is what rack actually. So the beauty of this, the Prowler as the rack also has been coming with the inbuilt. Okay, ma? And understood. So this no code automations, yes, you can do SOC integrations. You can so that you can get a more dashboards. Fine. The Prowler. Okay. So how this particular solutions, what is this the logic behind how they build it? So that's the thing. So they're saying that makes cloud security accessible, actionable, and scalable. So that is the mantra for that. And using this, they have built the logic. They're saying this. There's a called modular modular checks. So they're saying that we have a independent scripts. So easy whenever any other new managed services comes, no problem. We'll be enhancing it with the independent scripts. And okay, um, then always aligns to this particular solutions always aligning to the compliance as well as for the auditing reports, and user friendly and scalable. Okay, the code logic, as I said, they have a front end, we have back end, and they have a data. And you can, when you want to deploy, you can use for the Docker. And these are the called modular deployments. Okay, that's what they're supporting for asynchronous. Asynchronous, you no need to wait for any dependency. Immediately you can always you can play for your role. No need to depend for the others role. Okay, then rack integrations. Okay, there is a called Prowler Studio uses a retrieval augmentation generation, that's called drag to check for the remedy generations. That means what they're saying, that whenever any problem comes, actually you no need to wait for the others has to react from the shock dashboard. No, there will be a rack. You design the rack system, then rack system read your report and it's try to configure for your systems immediately. Understood? Yes. Okay. The next thing is output always in the format of JSON format. How to install that? How, if you want to install, you need to have a Python, you need to have a Git, and you need to have a cloud credentials, because after installation you need to check with this AWS subscriptions or Azure subscriptions. You can check that. You're supposed to have a operating system Linux box. You're supposed to have. Okay, if you want to install, okay, in the as a Python module, pip install Prowler, then you can give a then you'll be getting a command called Prowler minus v is a version. Okay, iPhone versions. And if you want to deploy in the Docker, then you can use Docker pull, then you can stable Docker pull the Docker image and the Docker run command. Understood? The next thing is called if you want to do Git clone also, you can do that. Okay, and this is thing actually, right? So these are the installation steps, how you can do the Docker compose from GitHub and worker. Okay, yes. Suppose how you can run the command. Suppose if you want to run for the Python, then you can do like this. It's also have a like a worker and scheduler and UI. Okay, scheduler means because like a cron jobs, you can say that you can scan for this every day morning or every day evening or what time. So that's called scheduler. Understood? Okay, then UI. And you can ask what are the supported commands or supports. Prowler AWS, it's gained for AWS. List checks. Okay, I got this scan. I want to see the checks. Okay, list all the checks. List services. Okay, services means what are the services AWS service. Then the services you can specify that. List compliances frameworks. Okay, the next thing is filter by the status. And okay, run specific checks. Okay, because when you want to scan, you can also check that I want to focus only for these are the checks. I don't want for all 142 checks. Okay, sends AWS security. I mean, send this report to status fail or status pass or file. You can send it. There is a call. One more thing is called infrastructure as a code. IAC is infrastructure as a code. So what happened when I want to do for any AWS reserving all the resources? Then I need to write a infrastructure as a code. Then you can save. I can push. Then it will be configuring all the AWS services. Okay, then you can go for the Prowler dashboard. You can able to see that. Now got the idea, right? And the next thing is practical implementation, because most of the time as a students you need to understand what are the use cases. This is important, right? So this use cases, primary and secondary. Primary, you can do security audits, compliance checks, and continuous monitoring. The secondary, incident response, infrastructure scanning, and system hardening, OS level hardening, right? Case studies. AWS multi account audit. So AWS have a multiple subscriptions. That's called multi-account audit. Prowler AWS Fraglet scans all accounts, generates Excel reports, and integrate with Security Hub. That's why your SOC dashboard or something. Okay, sample recipes. Pip install Prowler and Prowler AWS and compliances and output give this format file. Okay, then you can put it this is pass or fail in the security. Yes. Okay. The next thing is, right, security posters. Prowler Studio uses RAG to summarize the compliances and risk scoring. Okay, severity based on findings, low or medium, high. Automated remedy, AI generated fixed scripts. Okay, you can develop the scripts, and if it is any problem comes, automatically it go on configure. Okay, team integrations, red teaming, SOC operations, and CTAM. Final, understood the deep dive. How you can design the rack system and how you can do the integration and significance. Why rack was designed in Prowler code repository? Because it has the rack system, right? The developers integrated rack into Prowler Studio to address specific challenges in the cloud security and enhance automation capability. So that's okay. They are saying that the decisions, why we have a decision in this rack system, there is a motivations. Dynamic check generations, dynamically they has to go and check because you are using for the cron jobs, it goes the scanning, then dynamically can give the remedies. Challenges, manually writing checks 567 AWS 142 Azure and other cloud services is time consuming and error prone, especially for the new compliance standards for the cloud features. RAG solutions, RAG retrieves the relevant documentations, example AWS API spec, CSI benchmark, and generate the tailored Python scripts and reduce manual coding. Okay. Example, prompts creates AWS S3 encryption check, reduce S3 API docs, and generate the scripts like S3 bucket encryption PY. Awesome. The next thing is contextual complaints mapping. Challenges, mapping checks to compliance standards like GDPR, HIPAA requires deep domain knowledge and constant updates. Okay, because when you get the deep every day, every month, you'll be getting a new complaints, new standards, and that you can't study, then you can feed it to the rack system with the help of LLM brain. It can understand that, then immediately you can modify the scripts, then it the new, okay, understood, new checks will comes. The rack solutions, index compliance framework and cloud configurations, enabling Claude to map finding to standards and dynamically. I should Claude is nothing. So Claude is you can able to write the vibe coding and you can able to do for the no code platforms. Example, rack retrieves GDPR requirements and align S3 to take the data protection classes. So I'm going for GDP and GDP will give a lot of compliances. Example, I'm going for this S3 buckets for AWS. I'm checking this. These are the compliances whether it's meeting or not. Okay. If it's not meeting, because whenever any new compliances and the prone has to generate the own code because the existing Python code use cases is not covered, then it has to be create the code for the scanning that particular compliances related requirements. Okay, well, scalability and across challenges supporting AWS, Azure, GCP, and AIM requires handling diverse API and configuration. Rack solution uses unified vector database to store multi-cloud documentation enabling cross-platform check generation. Example, generate Kubernetes part security and review manifest. When you go for the Kubernetes, everything is a part, not a virtual machines. Okay, user accessibility. Non-expert users struggle to write a custom checks and interpret filling. So you're saying that even this particular prowler systems can be used for the non-system security people also, not security people also can use that. That's asynchronous update for the vector to ensure this first data, keeping checks relevant. Example, update embedding for the new AWS like Bedrock. Because AWS, the new service is called Bedrock. Just it came only for 3 months back. Because they're using this AWS Bedrock, you can able to create develop the new LLMs, new models. Okay, significance of a rack prowler. Okay, automation efficiency, multi-cloud flexibility, beginning friendly, compliance agility, SOC integrations. Okay, rack decisions already we have seen. Okay, not much. Then integration you can able to see, you can able to connect to rack to cloud MCP. You can use MCP to connect an API that's called Django API. Okay, expose rack results for the SAC tools and six SAC compatibility because we have a JSON file. Comparison with other rack frameworks. How we can compare this rack system with other from framework that's called Llama Index, LangChain, Rackflow, and Azure AI Search. Okay, Prowler rack advantage cloud security focus because say like these are not cloud security focused rack, but this is the only the cloud security related focus. So that. Also MCP driven action workflows, SOC integrations. Okay, these are the integration. Okay, I mean using for the MCP tool integrations, no, I mean the no code platform integrations. Some examples for your understanding. Okay, so Prowler Studio MCP server expose, check result, Docker run, Prowler Cloud Provider Studio. Okay, Prowler Studio. Okay, then MCP server, and the rack set indexing is finding for the rack servers. Then Cloud GitHub MCP rack server. Okay, you want to deploy this. Okay, wow, understood. And the custom MCP servers, post ACP, and if you want to do HTML integrations. Okay, these are the programming aspects. Right now it needs some more basic of the coding, then you can understand. Now it's a flow diagrams, how the Prowler CLI works. Okay, run CLI command, and okay, you can select provider. Okay, GCP or AWS, and run checks command, run checks, and it gets that, and it will be query. Okay, query the cloud and get it, and after that generate the JSON CSV reports, then send to a security hub or dashboards. Okay, okay, Prowler with N8N code. Okay, you see this N8N, one of the GUI, and it is called, there's a button called cron. Okay, you can select it every day morning 6 o'clock I need to run, or every 1 hour I want to run. That's it. Then after that you can say this HTTP request. In the Prowler AI you have a URL. Then you can give this URL. Then after that what happen, actually you can give this. You need to specify selecting AWS scan platform. Okay, then store the results in the Postgres, and after that you need to pass the results. After that you can send the alerts to the your SOC. Okay, understood now? These all no need to write single piece of code, nothing, only for just drag and drop. This is thing. Mm. So the this is called CLAD and MCP. So for that actually you no need to write a code, but you want to write a vibe coding, texting language, natural language you have to type. Okay, Mm. So now there is a recent concept called cloud code. It's a platform. So that, okay, what happened, the cloud code is a main agent, and it does to get the different agents. The agent called scanning, okay, sub agent for the scan AWS. So another agent called generate the report and push to the SAC data force. And other, okay, this particular agent, what work does that, it run for the Prowler CLI and create the complaints report, and it is storing all the in Splunk and Grafana stuff like this. Automate with no code, vibe coding, clad, and sub agents. Okay, so this is uh, cron triggers daily AWS can HTTP records. Okay, already we discussed now. Just I'm giving examples. That's so that you can able to understand this. Okay, so okay, the next thing is these are the future proof use cases. You can develop AI security chatbot. Okay, live SOC dashboard, threat hunt simulator, complaints audit tool, no code monitor, infrastructure as a code security scanner, multi cloud benchmarking, AI remediation assistance, security training platform, blockchain scanner. Okay, I'm done. Any questions? No questions. Thank you. Thank you so much.
There's no one.